Wang Liqiang, former CCP leader and deputy general manager of China Grain Reserves Corporation, was dismissed.
The CCP keeps reporting record crop yield to reassure people. Yuan Longping's team double cropping late rice yield broke new records.
The US officially withdrew from the WHO.
The CCP's media claimed that the 5-day week and the 8-hour workday system were the shackles of imperialism to contain the CCP's economic development.
The spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs lied that the CCP takes no position in the US election.
With a large number of asymptomatic cases emerging in Kashgar, Xinjiang, the fourth round of full-scale testing started on November 4th.
CCP held the second Belt and Road National Accounting Standards Corporation Forum on November 3rd and continues to promote Belt and Road Initiative.
The CCP continues to threaten Taiwan. PLA military aircraft have entered the southwest airspace of Taiwan 276 times this year.
On November 2nd, the People's Bank of China, China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission, China Securities Regulatory Commission, and State Administration of Foreign Exchange have conducted regulatory inquiries on Ant Group's actual controller Jack Ma, Chairman Jin Xiandong, and President Hu Xiaoming. On the evening of November 3rd, the Shanghai Stock Exchange announced that it decided to suspend the listing of Ant Technology Group shares. The Ant Group announced on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, saying that the listing of Ant Group's H shares was suspended.
The CCP regime brews hatred and hurt among common people. A street vendor was severely beaten up by the street management officers for failing to pay stall fees. I was waiting for the bus. 2 male urban management officers told me to leave immediately, or they would take action. That woman runs a snack stall by the roadside. They demanded for 2,000 yuan site fee for a month. She didn't have that kind of money. They said, if you don't pay, you have to leave. He kicked her stall out and started beating her.
Marriott was fined $160 million by the British government for leaking 300 million customers' private information. CCP's experts said that food production wouldn't be affected if the crops bent over, but the truth hurts.
People in many places in Liaoning reported strange sightings of 3 suns in the sky. Strange omens signaled the coming end of the CCP regime.
Petitioners were intercepted and detained on their way to Hangzhou to file complaints.
At Jiqihar, a 20-year-old marketplace was about to be demolished by force. Under the CCP's rule, everything belongs to the party. Today is November 3rd, 2020. I'm at the farmers' market in Jiqihar City. Wasn't this market built between 2002 and 2003 by an investor at the government's invitation? I heard it was. There should be government approvals and documents. This market has been around for 30 years. They just demolished it. Did they offer you any solutions? Nothing. Did they have the government's approval for the demolition? Nope. For this type of forced demolition going on in China, do you find it acceptable? None of us common people will accept this. Can't you see? We're just being bullied.
The U.S. sold weapons to Taiwan for the 3rd time in 14 days. It's Trump administration's 10th sales to Taiwan.
Hong Kong is shrouded in a red horror. The Hong Kong police stopped a 10-year-old girl to check her ID. Even elderly people and underage children can be designated as rioters.
On G News and GTV, the new Federal State of China TV station's host Feng Xiaohan and two co-hosts, Victor and Z, are broadcasting the U.S. election.
我们新中国联邦电视台呢会通过 GTV G News 在全球进行同步直播。我是冯潇涵，在今天跟我直播间的还有我们的另外2位战友，他们分别是 Z 和 Victor。先跟我们的观众一起打个招呼。
President Trump is not going to allow games to happen here. He is not going to have, what he's done is respect the American people by actually running a campaign and going out to the small towns and hamlets throughout the country to make his case to the American people. You see the energy he's had? He is not prepared, and his followers are not prepared to have this stolen by the shenanigans and games they want to play in the legal side of this, what they want to do in street protests, and what they want to do in social media to try to shut the president and his followers down. We're not going to back off, and we're not going to allow this to be stolen in the canvassing rooms. Mike Roman and the team have a top quality team that are contest. Any ballot that can be certified must be counted. It must be counted. We're a democracy. Okay, but the ballot has to be certified, and it has to play by the exact rules and regulations that exist, not that guys like Shapiro want to make up. To me, it's outrageous, the voter suppression that's already started by the Democratic Party. Shapiro's a hack. He should recuse himself, or I think the president's lawyers ought to go into court today and force him off this, because he's already shown that he's putting his thumb on the scale to try to steal Pennsylvania. And as Pennsylvania goes, so goes the country.
Standing in front of Victoria's Secret on 5th Avenue and 5th, and you could see 51st, I should say, it's already boarded up, it's already painted black so that there's no graffiti. But if you just go across the street, this is a scene that you're seeing all across the city. It sounds like a construction site. People are still putting up boards, but it feels like you're preparing for a hurricane. And many retailers, small businesses are doing this not once, not twice because they had to do it in the summer, but a third time because they were looted. And that's the major concern. Looting, violence. That's why the NYPD did speak yesterday. They put out a statement. They said, our intel has gotten a lot better. We've identified those who are willing to cause damage and destruction, and we will be on them. We know who they are. So directly speaking to those rioters, some businesses, Neil, are actually shutting down early. And I say this anecdotally because my physiotherapist canceled my appointment. All of the staff is told to go home early because they want to make sure they get home safely. Then you have some residential businesses telling them to hire their own security and not put out the trash just in case any type of destruction happens later on this evening.
Big victory with North Carolina. And so we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. And this is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and we, as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you.
Few people knew about it, and they moved it out, and they moved it into their political empire. For that, these are all treasonous activities, and we cannot let them do it tonight. When the count starts coming in is when they put this software scorecard on it, and that's the danger that we're facing.
Well, we're on it today, General McInerney, and I'll talk to you as soon as we're off the air, but I want to just say how much, not just our audience, but the entire country, particularly veterans, anybody that served and understands the dedication that you and Admiral Ace Lyons gave to this country and how you guys are so focused on this being the absolute thing that we got to take care of. This is another thing of the apparatus getting out of control of these surveillance operations. It's just absolutely incredible. This is why Sidney Powell has dedicated the last couple of years of her life defending General Flynn. Is one of the best guys that you'll ever meet. So, General McInerney, I thank you very much. We'll make sure that we're on top of this. And thank you for taking the time to come on the show today.
Thank you, Steve. Keep pressing.
Always, sir. I got to tell you, Tom McInerney is an American hero, right? And I don't want to hear any of the leftists going to sit there, oh, these guys are crazy. Okay, we're going to see. Remember, I'm Mr. There's no conspiracies, but there are also no coincidences. So we're going to get to the bottom of this, just like we got to the bottom of Ray gone. Fauci began the process, gone. Right? Haspel, gone. Right? Other people, gone. Right? Not acceptable. Deplorables are representing today. The deplorables are representing today. And you got Mike Roman. This is what the progressive left. Remember, our watchword here, no whining, no tears. So I don't want to hear the whining and the tears, because you started seeing them come up last night. They had a little bit of the whining and the tears. Right? Charlie Cook up there saying it's going to be as big as landslide as Mondale. Even my boy Scott Rasmussen. I love Scott Rasmussen. Big, right up on Drudge with, we're going to have a Mondale type. This is like Hoover and Carter. Don't think so. And why? The American people. We're going to go now next in the break. We're going to take a break. We're going to go next. We're going to get Richard Barris on here of big data polling. Brother Barris has been all over this from the beginning. Had a little different take than the mainstream media. You don't see on his site, Trump down by 10, Trump down by 9. I've been talking to European journalists over the last couple of days. They are absolutely gobsmacked. They go, what are you talking about? Trump can't possibly. Well, what's this hard drive you're talking about? We haven't heard anything about it. Note to self. The forgotten man and woman gets their turn to talk in all righteousness today.
I can tell you, this VNet is the name of a law firm. And this law firm is just something hidden. A so-called law firm. You can go to the website VNet Law. The site no longer exists. Anyone can go and check. It is not there anymore. This website VNet Law does not exist. I can show you. See? It doesn't exist, right? I can tell you, this is to defend against people like Dr. Ball, who looks around. You would think this is Bob VNet, but that's impossible, okay? So you can check. This VNet Law doesn't exist at all. So this is basically a shell company. And who is this Bob? Since we only showed you this one email. When you see additional emails and link them all together, this Bob VNet is indeed Bob Fu. Do you get it now? Why after Wall Street Journal wrote this article, they forwarded to those people and finally to Hunter Biden. About Hunter Biden, don't forget that back then, why did CCP give him $30 million? Through David Boies. David signed the deal as a consultant. David Boies also once worked for Mr. Milesguo. As you can see, this law firm is permanently closed. They often change their identities. Do you get it? So why was Hunter Biden in the middle of all this? You must think about if the CCP wants to go against Mr. Milesguo, other than the Democrats and the Republicans. On the Republican side, Brody spent so much money to help Xi Jinping extradite Mr. Guo, and the Democrats' media, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNN, etc.,
Trump claims that we did win this election in White House remarks. As cases across Europe rise exponentially, Italy may run out of ICU beds by the end of November. Wearing masks could save 130,000 U.S. lives by March, NIH director says. Hungary will reintroduce its state of emergency from midnight on Tuesday. France has reported its highest daily tally of COVID-linked deaths since April 15. Italy reports highest number of coronavirus deaths since May. Netherlands shut public gathering places, and the Prime Minister urgently advises against all foreign travel. The United States formally exited the Paris Agreement on Wednesday, fulfilling a years-long promise by President Donald Trump.
Dear mama, are you okay over there? Your son is crying and missing you, and sees you in his dreams. You said take down the CCP, cause it's God's will, it's God's will. And so I'm with you, and I'll see you when we end the CCP, yeah. So